To another episode of Pokemon Knowledge, and welcome back to another day of PK's fever dream, which is this hobby. Man, every day that goes by, I just realize I'm a little bit more and more lucky to be a part of this hobby. Tell you what, right now, time recording this video, May 1st. So I've now been officially full-time Pokemon for 2 months. 2 full months. I'll tell you what, time goes by fast. What have I learned after 2 months? What's the one thing I've learned above all other things? That I never want to go back to my regular job. I sit here and I think all the time now, I just realize I wasted so much of my life. And I say that in a good way and a bad way. But I came to the realization pretty recently that I've wasted so much of my life just pursuing something that I thought I cared about, which was, a career and, doing the normal trajectory that everybody always preaches to you from the day that you could really start to comprehend conscious thought. When you're a little kid, everybody always says, like, this is the path you gotta go, you know, try hard in school, study, go to a good college, take out student loans, get a job, work your butt off, work your way up the corporate out ladder, work really hard, and then eventually it'll be, all your hard work will be paid off, and you got to go in this type of order. And all I realized is I just wasted so many years of my life. And it's funny, I was just going through my camera roll on my phone, with the exception of my family. Every single happy thing that has happened to me in the last, I'm going to just say since 2020. I'm going to say since the start of this channel. At least since the start of this channel. Every single happy thing that has happened in my life outside of my family, which obviously everybody should be happy with their family, was all Pokemon. Every single happy thing outside of doing stuff with my family, a lot of it revolved around Pokemon. As I look through my camera roll, it's like photos of my kids, Pokemon. Photos of my kids, Pokemon. Pokemon kids, Pokemon kids. And that is all my camera roll is. Which I guess is a good thing, is you take photos of the things that mattered to you. But then I go through my camera roll and I look like, how many photos do I have of work in the last 5 years? None. I have a couple stupid work photos to remind myself to do something. But when I look back on those photos, one, I don't remember why that photo was taken in the first place. There's no context to it. It's just a meaningless photo if there's a work photo. And I just look at it, I'm like, what a waste. What a waste of so many years of my life. That's what I've taken out of the last two months. Last 2 months have been so life changing. Um, I don't know if I could ever go back at this point. I'm having more fun going full time Pokemon now. It's crazy. All I want to do is just interact with Pokemon. I just want to be around Pokemon. I want to talk about Pokemon. I want to be surrounded by Pokemon. I want to be in the basement. I want to be sorting cards. I want to be organizing stuff. I want to be, doing every aspect. Crazy thing is, a lot of people say they don't like packing. I think I might not be normal. I don't mind packing, and that is not a lie. I don't mind it. Everyone says that's the worst part. Oh, man, I feel like I gotta sneeze, but it's not coming. Oh, yeah, there it is. Shout out to Professor Oak. It wouldn't be alive without a good old PK sneeze. But yeah, man, I'm telling you, it's been a wild ride the last 2 months. You know, I do try to ask myself all the time. I think a lot of you guys are asking yourself the same question is, can this last forever? I don't know. I don't know. The reason why I say that is I don't know if this is the top or this is just the middle. Go to watch last week's video. You kind of get a little more of understanding of is this the middle of a 10-year bull market or is this the end of a 5-year bull market? Go watch last week's video. But I tell you what, all I can do is just keep going along the path that I'm going. And I guess is I finally found happiness. I think that's important. I didn't even realize I was missing it. I didn't realize I was unhappy until I'm actually in it now. Now that I'm in it, I realized how unhappy I was. I had a, my commute was over 15 minutes. It was like more like between 20 and 25 minutes. That was 25 minutes to work, 25 minutes home. Call it 30 minutes a day. 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back. I'll just round up a little bit. An hour a day, 5 days a week. That's 5 hours. Five, 5 times 52. That's a lot. And then multiply those at 52 by the 8 years that I was working at that job. And it's like, how many hours was that? Uh-oh. That's a lot of just fucking wasted time. I have a 30-minute commute to work. I have a 25-minute commute to work, 20-minute commute to work. That's pretty normal. There's probably a lot of people out there have 20-minute commutes to work, 20-minute commutes home. That's 40 minutes a day. Multiply that over the course of a career. Some jobs you're going to work 20 years if you're getting a pension. A lot of jobs are 401ks. You're probably not getting a pension. You might work some jobs 20, 25, 30 years. Multiply 40 minutes of your life, 5 days a week, for 30 years of your life. And it's just so much wasted time. I'm so happy. I got my time back. So in today's video, I'm going to talk a little bit about just, where I see the market right now. Shout out to the Rattle Discord. Shout out to Tap. Shout out to Rattle. Those guys are doing big things with the Discord, especially with the restock bots. We saw big restocks happen on Walmart recently. A lot of 151 was available, but more importantly, Destin Rivals came out, which is great. Like, do your best to get Destin Rivals at MSRP. You're going to get opportunities. It's not like it's not going to be out there anywhere. You're just going to have to struggle to get it, meaning there's going to be a queue. You might have an order limit. It might be tough, but if you try, if you are in there, if you're in the Discord bots, if you have certain notifications on, whether it's Walmart, your Targets, your Pokemon Center, and you happen to be by your phone, you'll get this stuff. And these bots are doing a huge thing right now. And so we just saw Destin Rivals get released. It looked like there was a lot of it. Unfortunately, a lot. This is the thing. The amount of product we're seeing drop right now at any other point in this hobby would have just been not a tidal wave. That would be a poor usage of word. It'd be a tsunami. Just tidal waves still crash on the beach. Yeah, they're high waves. They look pretty cool. Tsunami, because tsunami doesn't stop when it hits the beach. It doesn't stop. It just keeps going. And you just watch a path of devastation as a tsunami just keeps rolling in. That's what Pokemon, the amount of product we're getting right now, if any other period of time in this hobby, it would have just been a tsunami, just a wave that just never seems like it's going to end. It just keeps going. Sand's not stopping it, asphalt's not stopping it, dirt's not stopping it, skyscrapers aren't stopping it. It just goes in. You've seen these tsunamis that like wipe out Japan and stuff, and some of the videos of devastation. That would be what would have happened in any other period of time with this amount of product. But right now, this is just not, that's not the facts. There's just too much demand. The demand is just a gigantic break wall. A break wall made of just pure reinforced concrete. Thicker than the Hoover Dam. And when the tsunami comes in, this giant break wall is just stopping it. Dead in its fucking tracks. And there's just people out there. There's a supply. I don't know how many of these people are real, how many of them are bots. I think unfortunately, there's a lot of bots out there that are just eating right now. They're having a good time. I know people don't want to hear that. I think there's a consolidation going on right now in the hobby too. I had a conversation with somebody in the hobby. I don't know if they want me to say their name, so I'll say it in a cryptic way of who this person's name was. Her name, we'll call her Shifty Trading Card Game. Shifty. We'll call her Shifty Trading Card Game. Had a conversation. Just keep her identity secretive. But me and Shifty trading card game, we had a conversation. One of the things we were just talking about, me and her, is just there's consolidation happening in the hobby where few people are getting a lot and everyone else is just getting a little bit. And until the market changes, I don't see that factor change. What do you guys mean? Well, what do I mean by consolidation? It's just like those that have a lot, like whether that's access to product, a lot of money, capital right now in this hobby is so vitally important. Like if you have a lot of money right now today, you're able to interact with this hobby in at such a high level because you're able to get the cheapest prices, and there's a lot of people that are just buying up tons of product and they're acquiring tons of product and they're moving tons of product. And you know, let's just say hypothetically you got a couple thousand packs of a set. Well, what's going to be easier for you? Is it going to be easier for you to move all those couple thousand packs to one person, or is it going to be easier for you to move all those packs to 3,000 people? And you know what? I'll tell you right now, if you move it to the 3,000 people, you're going to get more per pack because you're going to get closer to market, where if you sell it all to one person, you're going to get less money, but it's going to be really, really less of a headache. And the people doing the big volume right now, that's it. They just want less headaches. And it's interesting. It's a lot of people, so people are selling to people, selling to people, selling to people, and everybody keeps making money along the line. If you guys are new to the channel, I'm not going to go into it, but if you go, I did make a video talking about clock radios. Go back and watch that. Just talking about a $5 clock radio from China. How every single person, from the engineer that designed, the original sketch drawing for that $5 clock radio, to the rare earth materials and the shipping and the people that build it and everything that goes in between that clock radio, from being designed on a piece of paper by some engineer in China to being made and manufactured and shipped until you finally buy it on your Walmart shelf. And talked about the logistics of how is it possible that a $5 clock radio could exist. And the reason why I said is because during that line, every single person along the line makes money. And right now, there's a lot of stuff that is happening right now, unfortunately, in Pokemon, because that same exact thing is happening, where every single person along the line is making money. And until something crazy happens where that is no longer possible, where everybody along the line keeps making money, things are going to be bad. But I think Pokemon is printing a lot of stuff. I just think it's being spread out so thin throughout so many different, avenues, so many different distribution models, that even though it's so much, it's just we're not seeing like crazy reflection on the market. And that's the whole thing with this whole MSRP debate. People only want MSRP because they can't get it. I promise you, the second stuff starts to drop below MSRP. But now this is the thing, it's the fickleness of the hobby too, is we're already starting to see little cracks in the hobby, and the only thing that's going to be able to just break these cracks is just more supply. I'm watching Pokemon's reprinting some stuff right now. A lot of people are talking about Surgeon Sparks reprint's going to happen. I looked at the Surgeon Sparks. I was like, oh, I wonder if there's any cracks in the market, like any fear. So I went to just type in TCG player Surgeon Sparks. I was like, maybe we'll see a drop, right? Let me show you guys what this TCG player chart for Surgeon Sparks looks like. All right. Get this. I was like, maybe there's a little bit of a downturn. Look, there was a little drop right here. And I was like, oh shit, we're at $250 Surgeon Sparks booster boxes. You know what this price means? This is like one of the most successful Pokemon products to ever exist. When you pull out and you look at like the 6-month chart, can't even see these, like, the drops are barely even noticeable. Look at this run up. This is MSRP right here. $61. That's MSRP. We never got back to that. To go back to MSRP, that's a $90 drop from where we are. It's going to be rough for a while. This is not like, this chart is, you don't understand. If you're like, PK, give me one example of why you're bullish on the market. I just show them this chart. I'd be like, this is a fucking new set. This is not an old set. This is not a set that has gone out of rotation and we don't believe it's going to get reprinted and the market starts to, like, go back up. No, like, look at the 3 months. Had a little drop and look. It's already bouncing back up. $5. It's crazy. We'll see. We'll see if the market continues to be strong enough to support these prices for the long term. It's just going to be rough right now. I don't know. I think that's where I struggle with most. I'm thinking about Destin Rivals too. I think the rip through rate of Destin Rivals is going to be very, very high. Same thing with Prismatic. Unfortunately, like with Prismatic, it's terrible to open. Prismatic Evolutions freaking sucks opening. You know why? Because you're probably going to brick. And not only are you going to brick, you're probably going to brick hard. Especially if you're opening up, 10-pack lots, 36-pack lots. It's very hard to pull these SIRs. But when you do pull them, man, it feels really good. But it's just so hard. And it's like, if Prismatic Evolutions could get down to $5 a pack, which I just find unlikely, the amount of people that are just going to want to rip it, trying to pull the chases, is going to be insane. Because when you look at Prismatic, there's just so much value in that set. All the evolutions are so expensive. That Umbreon, I keep looking at, me, I like vintage cards. I look at vintage cards all the time. And in fact, I've been looking at them even more. I'm just like, is this the one I want? And then the other day, I pulled 2 Japanese base set Charizards. Not only did I pull 2 base set Japanese Charizards the other day, pulled them in back-to-back packs. Literally opened up one pack, Charizard. Japanese heavy base set pack. Very next pack, pulled another Charizard. And I'm like, you feel so good. Like, that's OG Charizard artwork. It gives you the feels. Japanese media factory print quality, like, super good, super clean cards, pack fresh, feels so good. And then I think about these cards and I'm like, these cards are, Japanese, we'll call it whatever, 96, 97, 98, whatever number you want to come up with, but close to 30 years old. Those cards are pulled from a pack, and it's not just pulled any card. I pulled literally the Chase, and one of the most iconic cards in the history of this hobby, and I compare it. I'm like, how much is this card raw? And then I look at the Moonbreon, or the new Sunbreon, or whatever, from Prismatic, and I'm like, oh my god, this card doesn't even cost as much as a freaking Umbreon from Prismatic Evolutions. These modern cards are super expensive. And I promise you that Japanese pack we opened was exponentially more expensive than a Prismatic pack. By hundreds of dollars more, that base set Japanese pack that we opened was. Hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of dollars more that I opened for somebody than a Prismatic pack. And you can pull out of Prismatic a more expensive card than the oldest set that exists for Pokemon. And with one of the most iconic cards in the history of this hobby. And it's like, shit. We booming. And then you look at the rest of the set and you go, well, is there no more value out of Prismatic? And then you look at the next card and you're like, Espeon, Sylveon, Glaceon, Vaporeon, Leafeon. Uh-oh. Jolteon, Eevee. Uh-oh. They're all expensive, and then it's like, whoa, are there secondary hits? And it's like, yeah, Umbreon Master Ball, Espeon Master Ball. There's a shitload of Master Balls in there, and it's like, oh my god. You look at how much does and then there's a chance for the God Pack, which obviously the God Pack is going to be extremely near impossible. But you got a God Pack, and then when you start to break down how much value is in a God Pack, even just the EV Master Ball, and then you got all the evolutions, you're like, even though this is fucking next to impossible to pull, we've only pulled one on our Fanatics channel. Shout out to Pongo. Pongo pulled it. I've only pulled a bunch of demigod packs. I haven't pulled an ultimate God Pack yet. But then you look at the dollar amount that's just exist in that pack, and it's like there's still chase for even that, which means there's going to be demand for this shit forever. Same thing with 151. I look at 151. I'm like, what does 151 have going for it? Set identity? Yeah, it has great set identity. It's the original 151 Pokemon, but it's not that big of a set. You would think 151, it's like, if people really, really like 151, which I think they do, eventually people are just going to complete the set. There is not that many SIRs. Yeah, you got the Blastoise, Charizard, Venusaur, Erica's Invitation, Giovanni's Charisma, the Zapdos, the Alakazam. Fuck, I'm probably missing one. Maybe not. Whatever. Am I missing one? Either way, that's not a lot. There's not a lot of SIRs out of 151. And then you only have 3 gold cards. 2 of them aren't worth shit. You got a gold Switch, a gold Psychic Energy. Who cares about those? And then you got the gold Mew, which is pretty cool. You got some beautiful illustration rares, but there's not a ton of IRs in there. You're going to end up pulling a shitload of like Tangler IRs. And then you look at 151 and you're like, it's a great set identity. But there's not that many chases in it, at least when you compare it. You know, and then you look at 151 pull rates. But with all that going, I would say, against it, you look at 151 and it's like, fuck, 151 just keeps marching along. 151 is just getting, instead of getting less demand, instead of having the market be oversaturated with cards, I'm watching as the prices for 151 cards are still going strong. Still watching as people are chasing that Charizard. Still watching as people are, and it's like, you would think if you wanted all these cards from 151, like, this is not a new set. Everyone would have their opportunity. Like, 151 shouldn't even really be that sellable at this point, because anybody that wanted it should have kind of already had it, or at least had their fill of 151, or got all the cards when they were cheap. The hobby just does what the hobby does, and it bucks against that trend. And it's like, no, we're just going to keep being expensive. We're going to keep marching on. We're going to keep wanting people to have demand. We're going to have, when 151 booster bundles go up on Walmart or Target, there's queues and they sell out, and there's somebody always upset that, you know, they're leaving Pokemon because they weren't able to get I don't know how many restocks of 151 have gone on for the last couple years. This is now officially restock number 16,469 of 151 booster bundles on through all the websites, and on, you know, try number 16,669, people are like, I'm leaving the hobby because I can't get 151. And it's like, we booming that people are still upset that they can't get 151. Like, the chances are out there, the singles are out there. Pack prices are still expensive in relative to the singles. Yeah, the Zard's expensive. You know, maybe your Blasty Boy is what, like $69.69, something like that. But we live in a world of irrational exuberance, of a rational, just, we booming. This hobby is booming. So if I just told you all that spew about 151 was just verbal diarrhea for the last 5 minutes, telling you how people still want 151 after all this time, you think people aren't going to still want prismatic evolutions in 2 years' time? Fucking impossible pull rates. People are going to want to open one prismatic forever. Because people love the chase. It's built into, if there was DNA in this hobby, if you could break down, if you could say that this hobby was a living being, and you could break it down to its actual DNA, look at the DNA strands. It's built into the DNA. Gotta catch them all. That's it. That's this hobby. This hobby is just a living creature. And the fundamentals of this living creature is just you got to catch them all. And Prismatic is going to have that. Now, I thought by now buyer's fatigue would be a thing. But you know what? I've been saying that forever. It's just like you're never wrong until you're just wrong. And I guess shout out to Son of Mewtwo being a member for 14 months. Appreciate you, Son of Mewtwo. But yeah, just you're wrong until you're never wrong until you're wrong. And it's just like I guess I was wrong. Like I thought wallet fatigue was a thing. I thought eventually people would get burned out. I don't know where the money comes from. Shout out to Son of Mewtwo gifting the 10 PK memberships. Appreciate you, Son of Mewtwo. But people just keep doing it. The train, which is Pokemon, the train, which is this hobby, just keep fucking chugging down that track. Chugga chugga choo choo. And yeah, shout out to the person that I don't want to name. Once again, we're gonna call her Shifty Trading Card Game. I had a conversation with her the other day, just talking, and one of the things I think too that I was having a conversation with her, and it came down to like kind of making money in the hobby and kind of talking about aligning yourself with the right people. And I was talking to this person who shall not be named, Shifty Trading Card Game. And I pretty much said to him, one of the reasons I think me and Dan work out really well, and this things I've mentioned in the past, is you got to find people to work with in this hobby. If you do decide to like branch out and expand, I think you need to find people that you could complement their strengths, and maybe you have some, and where some of their weaknesses are where your strengths are, and then they could complement your weaknesses with their strength. And I think if you could find somebody like that and you could have a more like symbiotic relationship, that is so vitally important to your success in the hobby in the long term. One of the things I mentioned was, you know, if you so I think there's two different type of people in this hobby. There is one type of person that values money over time, and then there's a second type of person that values time over money. And one of the things you will find out is the people that value money over time have a lot of time. And the people that value time over money have a lot of money. So if you value your time, or if you value money, you're going to want to try to find somebody who's kind of, in a way, the opposite, right? Because you got to find something. What do you have that they don't have? And what do they have that you don't have? And how can you make that work, together? And I feel like that's one of the reasons me and Dan have worked out. Now, I do value my time, make no mistake about it. But you got to find, it's like, what did I have that Dan didn't have? And it's simple. Time. I had my time. And I'll give my time if I truly believe in something. And it's now been 2 months. I truly believed in something. And I went all in. Pushed all my chips out into the table. We're all degenerate gamblers. So I feel like pushing your chips out into the middle of the table, that is a good analogy for this hobby. It's just like all your chips are out on the table. What are you going to do? It's like you're all in. Can you make it work? And I just figured sometimes you got to take the chance in life. And it's one of the things I talked about on previous videos is if I couldn't make it work in today's hobby, I will never be able to make it work. Like, I think that's another thing too, is there's like that old proverb. It's where there's a shipwreck, right? And it's like a religious proverb, but there's a shipwreck and there's a guy like clinged onto a life raft in the middle of the water, and everybody else that was on the ship, they all perished, but this one guy was a man of faith, was clinging on to this life raft, and a big cruise liner comes along, and cruise liner comes and it's like, hey, we're here to rescue you, and the guy's just like, no, 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 you don't need to save me, God's gonna save me. And the cruise liner's like, okay. The cruise liner drives away, and then a little while later, and the guy's sitting in the sun, and he's starting to starve and starting to run out of water. And another ship comes along, and it's a cruise ship this time. And the cruise, or not a cruise ship, like a yacht. And the yacht yells down to the guys like, "Hey, I'll rescue you." And the guy's like, "No, no, no, I don't need your help. God's gonna help me." And then finally, a couple more days go on, a few more weeks, and then finally, a little guy in a little tiny rowboat comes rolling by the guy, and the guy's like, "Here, get onto my rowboat. I'll save you." And the guy's like, "No, no, no. I don't need your help. God will save me." So the guy in the rowboat's like, "Okay." And he just keeps rowing and he goes away. And then the guy dies. And he makes it to heaven. And, God welcomes him at the pearly white gates. And the guy looks up to God and he's like, "I was a man of faith. Why, why did you like forsaken me? Why did you let me die? Why didn't you save me?" And then God looks down at the guy and he's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I sent a cruise ship for you. I sent a yacht. And then when you were about to die, I sent a rowboat. What do you mean I didn't try to save you?" And I kind of think about that, like, just kind of think about that in my life, right? It's like, when the cruise ship is there, you might as well just hop on, you know? We, the opportunity is there. Take it. You can't just keep sitting there waiting, saying something else will come along. This greater power will always save me. Sometimes when the opportunity is there, you just have to get out of your fucking life raft and be saved. And I feel like I had my moment. And I got out of my life raft, and now I'm just sitting on my cruise ship drinking pina coladas. Sucked that it took a ship to crash and wreck on the rocks and be stranded on a life raft for a little while. But like, that's the thing. It's like, when the opportunity is there, you just got to take advantage of it. And I feel like that is this hobby. And a lot of people are still looking at this hobby now and they're saying, "I can't make this hobby work." And it's like, well, why? Why? If you can't make this hobby work, like, stop passing by the cruise liners. When the yacht comes by, stop passing it over. When the little guy in the rowboat's coming to fucking save you before you're about to die, like, don't just tell them no. Like, all the signs are there. The signs are there. You can save yourself in this hobby. And there's so many opportunities right now. It's like, make it work. If you care about this hobby, make it work. And you got to take a leap of faith sometimes too. And that's the thing too. It's like, maybe my belief will be broken by this hobby, but I'm watching it. I witness it. I'm daily, every day. I'm like, tomorrow might change. And then now I've just like, tomorrow's not going to change. Tomorrow will be exactly the same. Uh, when we first started streaming, I know a lot of people don't like me talking about what I do for a living, which is streaming. For that person, you could just turn off this video. I know. But it's like, when I talked to Dan, when we first started streaming, we had 9 or 36 pack lots available. Where did those numbers come from? Well, 9 packs is a quarter of a booster box. 36 packs is a full booster box worth of packs. That's where those numbers come from. And then I saw the demand was there, pretty strong for the 36 pack lots. And then I said to Dan, I was like, 36 pack lots aren't cutting it anymore. I was like, I need you to put the numbers into like the spreadsheet that I pull prices from. I was like, I need 100 pack lots. I think Dan I don't know if he laughed. I think he believed in it, but I think he was like, "I don't think we're going to sell a lot of 100 pack lots, PK." I think that's what Dan thought. And then we sell a lot of 100 pack lots. And then recently, I've been selling 500 pack lots. We started doing 9 pack lots, then it was 36 pack lots, then it was 100 pack lots, and now I'm up to doing 500 pack lots. Those are few and far between, but there was back-to-back days where I sold 500 pack lots, and it's like, what other sign do you need? Like, what, even if shit starts to go down from here and shit starts to go down from 500 pack lots, I think I'll be okay on the way down. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. It's like we were okay with 9 and 36 pack lots when we started. Now we're doing 500. And it's like, if everything hits the shit hits the fan, everything starts to go down, like, I think we'll be okay with 9 and 36 pack lots. Like, we'll be okay. If the 500 pack lots and the 100 pack lots, they stop selling. You know? It's like, hey, it's fun, man. I'm having more fun today than I did yesterday. I had more fun yesterday than I did the day before and the day before and the day before. And it's like, when I stream, I have to stop, uh, because my cheeks hurt. I have to literally stop, do this, like do that because my cheeks hurt. Because I just laugh and I smile, and people in the chat, it's just funny, just having a good time. And it's like I worked a lot of jobs for a long time. I don't ever remember my cheeks hurting on any of those jobs because I was laughing so hard or smiling so hard. It's like, I guess it's that goes to that saying. It's like, if you do something you love, you never work a day in your life. But it's like, well, then I do feel too that like now you're gonna be biased, right? And you're gonna start to only see things, and it's like, yeah, I guess I'm seeing things with rose colored glasses on at this point, and everything seems nice. But Destin Rivals is coming up, man. I think Destin Rivals is gonna just rip. I am interested. Like, this is honestly, everybody always wonders. It's like, what about next after Destin Rivals? It's like the only thing I'm confident about is people always want whatever the newest shiny thing is. As long as Pokemon keeps pumping out 4 main expansions per year, so one out of every 3 months, couple, specialty sets sprinkled in between, a couple of Japanese sets. You're gonna get 2 Japanese sets in between every main release because most English sets are made up comprised of 2 Japanese sets. You got a specialty set, you got a main expansion. As long as Pokemon keeps pumping out new sets, the one thing that I'm willing to wager everything on is that people will always want to open the new thing. And people will always want the new thing over and over and over again. As long as there is a new thing, and you know what? Sales are going to do this every time. At release, sales are going to be way up here, and they're going to drop. And that's going to happen every time. But if there's always something to kind of look forward to. That's the thing, too, about Pokemon is when you're stranded in your life raft, there's just the horizon is foreverness, and that's the thing about Pokemon is there's nothing ever over the horizon. Like there is never the end. It's just a constant foreverness, just constantly goes on. And I mean that's this hobby, right? It's just that constant foreverness, and I know it's good. All right. All right. That is my normal PK rant, as always. I'm going to get to the top of the chat. I'm going to do what I always do. I'm going to read the top of the chat. If you guys have any questions, you can ask me questions. Otherwise, I'm going to shut it down. Listen, I could talk all day. If there's enough questions, I'll keep talking. I do want to bring some people on the chat. One thing that I is what I is what I is. One thing that I have been noticing is that obviously it's a lot of just internal, doing this type of content. Streaming, obviously, it's just you. Yeah, you do have the chat, which the chat is fantastic, but you are just kind of talking to yourself. I do want to bring on some guests, so maybe next week that'll be something that I want to do. Maybe we'll do our, annual basic trainer check-in, see how basic trainer is doing. See, I'm a little nervous inviting basic trainer on because I know MetaZoo is back. I know basic will want to talk about MetaZoo, but maybe we'll have to have basic trainer on. So Matt says Surgeon Sparks is MSRP on UK Pokemon site right now. If anyone is in the UK, you know the crazy thing about that is that MSRP is a deal. MSRP is never a good deal in this hobby, but right now it might be a good deal. I mean, arbitrage is a real thing. The tiers are kind of throwing a little wrench in a lot of that stuff, especially. I don't know. I heard something that maybe like there's going to be two. So right now, like for Japanese product potential. See, I don't want to talk about this because I don't know. I just heard this in the chat that maybe it's right now there's no tariffs on any items shipped to you under $800, but potentially they're going to be getting rid of that. But I haven't verified that. So don't nobody quote that. Go do your own research because I could be wrong. I never verified that. Pokemage said solid sneeze, 11 or 11 out of 10 PK. Appreciate you. Shout out to Son of Mewtwo, always on the sneeze. Frosty said, I got some Destined Rivals on the Walmart drop yesterday. The queue actually worked for once. It was great. I mean, you would hope that a multi-billion-dollar company like Walmart would be able to get their queue right. So, but I think the bots had a little field day too. The Matt Damon said Surgeon Sparks is MSRP right now on a Pokemon UK site, $144. Yeah, man. Matt, you might want to. I would look at some people's buy prices and see if there could be international arbitrage for you, if it makes sense. Yeah, Matt's really saying it's there, but like if you can make it work, I keep saying 144. So 140. So whenever I see 144, my mind is very jaded. So 144, I instantly think of Kanazawa Pikachu because Kanazawa Pikachu is number 144, and then the Greninja Gold Star from the Celebrations Elite Trainer box is number 144 too. But I guess that's your MSRP is 144 in the UK, so I'm guessing that's pounds. All right, yeah. So Matt says, I bet in US if that happened now, you'd all be buying. Sold out UK is a bit slower, but be sold out. It's not long. Think yeah. Katie Lowen, Katie, good to see you. She said, Yo PK, how many prismatic packs do you think you've opened? And out of those, how many have had SIRs, the big evolutions? Dan has the spreadsheet with the numbers. 6,000 to 7,000 packs I've opened, Katie, of prismatic, and I'd say my SIR pull rate is not great. When we first started opening it, it was 1 out of like every 36 packs, but I think that number has actually gotten pretty higher. I think it's like 1 out of 50-ish. But that's the thing about prismatic is you hit some like you if you open up yeah, 1 out of 50 because if you open up a 36 pack lot, you're not guaranteed an SIR. The problem with prismatic is the good SIRs are so good and the bad SIRs are so bad. Like, if you get a Petront, at least it's still a Pokemon, but it doesn't feel good. You get a fucking A. Mary's SIR or a Crispin SIR. Wait, is the Crispin holding a tennis racket got like the stupid Bitcoin B behind him? It's stupid artwork. That doesn't feel good because the rarity chase between an A. Mary's or a Crispin is exactly the same as, an Umbreon, and a lot of the SIRs don't feel good, but then there are like the middle of the road SIRs, which I think might actually be undervalued, which is crazy because of how expensive a lot of Pokemon right now to me, because of demand, because of how hard pull rates are, some stuff actually feels like super undervalued. Right now, too, a lot of Sword and Shield Altarts feel crazy undervalued to me. Sleepy T-Tar, undervalued. Blaziken VMAX from Chill and Pain, undervalued. Espeon VMAX from Fusion Strike, wildly undervalued. Gengar VMAX, Fusion, undervalued. Like, these cards suck to pull because when you start talking about your Brilliant Stars, your Chill and Rain, your Fusion Strikes, Evolving Skies, it takes all the way up until obviously you had character rare trainer gallery cards in Cosmic Eclipse, but you have a drought from Cosmic Eclipse all the way to Brilliant Stars. So you do have a couple, alt-art sets, like I said, Battle Styles, Chill and Rain, Evolving Skies, Fusion Strike. Without that trainer gallery subset in, those sets are brutal to open. And then when you look at some of those, it's like, yeah, Battle Styles is still struggling a little bit, but Chill and Rain going up in price. Obviously, Evolving Skies doing Evolving Skies things, and then Fusion Strike packs. Fusion Strike packs are super expensive, and it's like your chances of pulling the hit you want, very, very low. Very, very expensive to open these hits. Yeah, when your Chill and Rain was $80 a booster box, and maybe people didn't care as much about the Blaziken. When Fusion Strike was $80 a booster box, maybe people didn't care as much about the Espeon VMAX or Gengar, but I think they did still care about them. It's just some of these cards feel super undervalued for like how tough they are to pull. Now, what's the problem with those? Like, why are people not go? Why does the Espeon VMAX cost so little in comparison to one of these evolutions from Prismatic? Why is that? Like, what is an Espeon? Well, an Espeon is an evolution. Is it hard to pull? Yes. Is it awesome artwork? Yes and yes. Is the Espeon VMAX from Fusion Strike better than the Espeon in Prismatic? Everything is subjected, but I'd say yes. I think, again, this is where subjectivity comes in, where I personally think it's better. But then it's like, which one's more valuable? It's like, well, the moderner, the better. And that's it. You want to know the secret of this hobby? The moderner, the better. And as long as Pokemon keeps putting out sets, the moderner, the better will keep happening. And it's like, what do you want? If I could back anything in this hobby, it's like, well, what would you back? It's like, whatever the newest thing is. Turn your brain off. Sometimes we turn our brains on too much. We overthink things. Sometimes you just got to turn your brain off. I got up to the point where good old Son of a Mewtwo gifted the 10 PK memberships. Appreciate you, buddy. Son of Mewtwo gifted again another 10 PK memberships. Dude, I appreciate you, buddy. I got Son of Mewtwo. We got Thrifty, TCG. Not to be confused with Shifty trading card games. Thrifty said, Shifty is wild, though. Dio's card says, Ponga just pulled a Groudon from Paradox Rift. Wow, it does exist, huh? Thrifty said, the old Pina Colada game, yes. First Tat says, 100 packs is entertaining to watch. 500 packs is entertaining to watch, too. So, Frosty says, have you looked into the exclusive Chinese Gem Pack 2 Evolution set? I love the art. So, Chinese exclusive artworks. Let's see. I know nothing about Chinese exclusive artworks. Frosty. I got to the point where Son of Mewtwo gifted his second 10-pack lot. Appreciate it, buddy. Yeah, so Andrew says, yes, allegedly the de minimis is going away for Japan, but to be honest, if it actually goes into effect... Okay, yeah, so that's what I've heard. Rattle Pokemon asking the hard-hitting questions. I don't know if Rattle has publicly stated. Rattle, have you publicly stated if you are going to be going to any Collecticons or not? I don't want to blow up your spot if you are or are not. But Rattle says, which Collecticon should people attend? There's a great movie. It's called National Treasure, Mr. Rattle Pokemon. And there's a famous line, Secret Lies with Charlotte. So I would say, for me, obviously, you know, I love Charlotte Collecticon. It's the one I go to every year. So I definitely say if anybody is going to be attending a Collecticon, probably should attend Charlotte. Charlotte is not the biggest of the Collecticon. I like to go there. Shout out to... I think a lot of people know why I go there. But so Rattle may or may not be going to a Collecticon this year, and then obviously Jersey. I was originally going to vend. Shout out to Grimer Collects. Grimer, I had a table reserved with Grimer, but I ended up just... I don't have the time to vend, so I'm not going to vend Jersey this year. I still will be attending Jersey. Ray says, do you think in 1 month Paldea Evolve will be higher priced or Destined Rivals? Paldea Evolved. 1 month. Oh, sorry. 1 month. Oh, so do you... wait, let me read this again. I think I've said it wrong. Do you think in 1 month Paldea Evolve will be higher priced than... No, Destined Rivals will be higher priced. And liquidity will be much easier on Destined Rivals as well. But yes, I think Destined Rivals would be more expensive in 1 month than Paldea Evolved. What is Paldea Evolved? Current prices. I mean, Destined Rivals is going to come out the gate ripping. Now, which one is more likely to get reprinted? Destined Rivals. You got to remember, Paldea evolved booster pack. So you got to remember that Destined Rivals, the moderner the better. So yeah. Oh yeah, not even close. Yeah. Destined Rivals is going to blow Paldea Evolved. In 1 month, Destined Rivals will be about $100 more than Paldea Evolved. Destined Rivals is going to come out the gate just fucking ripping. Ripping and tearing, ripping and tearing. The Wild Woman, the Wild Woman. That is Destined Rivals right now. So Rift Hardy says if somebody buys any non-Umbreon SRs from Prismatic over SVV Max from Fusion Strike, they are clearly just chasing hype over actual art. But the SV will rise from the ashes one day. You would think it's super undervalued for what it is. Even in a 10, I think it's undervalued. Yeah, you heard that. Some of these Sword and Shield alt arts, when you look at especially the pop reports on some of them, I mean, this shit is still getting opened in mass, but not nearly like Prismatic is. Definitely not like this stuff was. I mean, it's still getting open in mass because every single streamer is opening these packs on the daily, but it's not at the high volume that it used to be. So I think these pop reports, while they are going to continue to grow, it's just not the way it is. Navy said just shipped you $1,500 worth of packs today. Very nice. Rattle said no, he hasn't told anybody yet. So when Rattle makes the announcement, I will make the announcement as well. So Thrifty says you should probably want to prioritize Charlotte, New Jersey, and Chicago. So I won't be able to make it to Chicago. Derek says thoughts on second class sets alt arts from Sword and Shield, mainly in the $10 to $20 range. See any that are undervalued here. Regidrago, Golurk, etc. Pokemon Go as a whole, I just think is undervalued as a set. Now, second class alt arts like a Conkeldurr from Pokemon Go, even the Mew V, which is still a chase. It's still a secondary. Like, Fusion Strike, the Sandaconda V alt art. People are never gonna like those. There's just some alt arts that are undervalued, but then there are some like a higher second class alt arts which I think are pretty cool. So I would say like an example would be like second class alt arts like Aceradians. Obviously Aceradians has your three big alt arts with the DoorDash Machamp, you got the Palkia, the Dialga. Those are like your three good ones, but then there's like some secondary alt arts that might be undervalued, like the Sneasel V. I think would be like a secondary alt art that people don't think about, is kind of undervalued a little bit. The Hisuian Lilligant, I think that a lot of people would consider that like a secondary alt art. I think that is undervalued. But then when I look at like a Sandaconda V from Fusion Strike, I'm like, no, Sandaconda V is not underpriced. It's right where it should be. Like, it's a pretty shitty one. Sorry. So, Fresh Tats says, I love this Anaconda. All right. Let's see. Awesome. So somebody said most of those cards you'll never see in person unless you go to a card show. Super rare. I don't know which ones that you're referring to, but chat, I did it. Made it to the bottom of the chat. As always, listen, guys, I appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning in. It is Thursday night. I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm going to do after I turn off this video. I'm going to go upstairs. I had a nice dinner with my family today, which was beautiful. Awesome. My mom's in town, so I got to see my mom. Had a great Thursday. Stream this morning. Have tonight off from streaming, so I'm gonna go upstairs, about to take a shower, and then I'm gonna go lay in bed, and yeah, it's gonna be great. There's the little things in life. You gotta see. You gotta enjoy every part of life. You gotta enjoy the good, the bad, the ups, the downs. But you know what? Sometimes you just gotta enjoy the simple things in life, like going upstairs, taking a shower, and just laying in bed, watching TV, falling asleep. You know what the best part is? It's tomorrow. You get to wake up, get to do it all over again. And as long as you can't wait for tomorrow to come, you always got something to look forward to. All right, guys. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you. And as always, Catch you on the next stream.